Where's Little Money Hoffman? Little Money Hoffman, where are you? I got Big Money Jackson next to me. I got Big Money Ricky. I got Big Money Wendell. I got Big Money Vino. And I got Little Money Hoffman. Little Money Hoffman, let me ask you a question. Why does everybody got big money except you? You got little money. I saw your purse.
Well,
I looked at it.
You need to give me more money then.
Your purse was so empty, Little Money Hoffman.
You need to give me some money then.
Even the moss vacated your purse.
I need to give you need to give me some money.
Money.
Give me some money, sir. That's
all right,
look,
Little Money Hoffman. This is what we're going to be doing today.
You are so wrong.
You know what we're going to be doing today. Why don't you tell everybody we got, by the way, not 1 hour, but 2 hours today. We got a lot to talk about, Little Money. What are we talking about? All right. Welcome back to the Hutchinson Report. That was Donald Trump getting applause. He's the sugar daddy of the world now. Everybody loves Trump now. $2 trillion. Even Oliver's smiling over here. You know, we got money. Show that money. We got dollar bills all over the place. Money. Okay. We're going to be doing a lot today on the Hutchinson Report. During our drive-by, I'll give you a little snippet, first of all. Then we're going to be talking about minute details. The stimulus package, what's in it for you, if anything. Then we'll be talking about Trump. What do you think? Did he handle it well? Yes or no? Agree or disagree? We looked at the poll and we found out one thing, that about 60% of the American public, at least those that are polled, according to CNN, they like the way the president is handling and has handled COVID-19, the novel coronavirus. They like the way he's handling it. Not bad for a guy that we thought was flat on his butt 1 week ago, getting pounded by everybody. Even Leroy said he can't win. I'm not so sure. Memories are short, Leroy Jackson. By September, we got money in our pocket. Businesses are flowing again. People are back in the stores again. COVID-19 is, a bad memory. The guy will be running all over the country, Leroy Jackson, screaming, I saved you. I saved America from COVID-19. I did it. He will be screaming to everyone, I put money in your pocket. Waving the money. Leroy, do you have that? Do you have that? Money. I got money all over. I'm rich again. I got $2 trillion I put in your pocket. People like that. People may forget. They have short memories. The other thing that we looked at very carefully is the stimulus package itself. We're going to go through in minute detail, point by point, the highlights of that. What's in it for you? What's not in it for you? And by the way, not a bad bill in some respects. Not bad. I know Bernie and the rest, they went off on it and said, look, you're giving $500 billion, a slush fund for the big fat cats like Leroy and Oliver. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, Boeing gets $17 billion. Yeah, they get $17 billion. But we got to realize one thing. They employ a lot of people, like about 100,000 people. That's a lot of people, a lot of payroll there. And by the way, that would be a big hit to the economy if those individuals were flat on their behind, no jobs, no money, no nada. I don't have a problem with that. I have to tell you this, Leroy. I don't have a problem with the $500 billion going to the big fat cats like you. I don't have a problem with that. Here's a problem I have. I do have a problem if you're using the money for stock buybacks, paying dividends, the CEOs. That I have a problem with. Now, we do understand that there's an inspector general that's been put in place who will be charged and tasked with overseeing to make sure it's not going for the big fat cat buyback, stock buyback, dividends, padding the executive payrolls that they did within the TARP. Remember the TARP back in 2008? Big hit on that. And also, too, there's a monitoring board, too, supposedly overseeing. And there's a 3-year period, Leroy, I don't know if you're aware of that, where they cannot use any of the money for any stock buybacks or anything to do with the executive stuff. It has to go to workers' salary, benefits, health care, all those kinds of things that supposedly employees are entitled to. I don't have a problem with that if that's what it's used. Here's the problem with that. The problem is Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, he can actually waive. He has power to issue a waiver to a company, which means, again, some of his pals on Wall Street, the banking industry and the big corporations, could get that waiver. This is where the Democrats and some Republicans have to say no. We're going to be watching you very closely. No, you can't pull that stuff again. You can't pull. No, we're not fake news. This is real news. You cannot pull that stuff again. You got away with it 2 or 3 times in the past. Not going to fly now. Too many people are hurting. Too many jobs have been lost. Too many incomes are gone down the tubes. Too many small businesses and not so small businesses have closed their doors. No, they have to be taken care of first, second, and last. So these are the kinds of things on the Hutchinson Report we'll be talking about today. In the second hour, we're going to be talking about small businesses, particularly in L.A. and other inner-city communities, how they have been hurt by that. And also testing, too. I'll be very curious when the money is out there, and it will be dispersed very soon, who gets tested first. I have a story to tell about that. So one final thing, too, we have to take note of, a little bit away from COVID, Trump, all the stuff that's going on there, and there's tons of things there that's to be talked about. The other thing is Nipsey Hussle. We're coming up on the first anniversary of the murder of Nipsey Hussle. There normally would have been anniversary celebrations, and so not celebrations that he was murdered or his death, but commemorations of the occasion. And we'll be doing that. We'll be doing a little tribute, and we'll talk about that and the importance of him. I was a bit disturbed that there is a documentary coming out now on him, which essentially almost says you were the one that caused your own murder. I have a problem with that when you blame the victim. I mean, he's not here to defend himself, so we don't know. So we'll keep an eye on that, too. So between that and between back to COVID and the money, that's the name of the game on the Hutchinson Report today. You've been listening to this edition of the Hutchinson Report podcast take of the week. Take it away. Money. All right, just before we get back into the main event of the day, I want to give a shout out to Jasmine Hutchinson Kelly. Happy birthday, granddaughter. She turns, I'm not going to tell you how old she is. Anyway, a big birthday shout out to Jasmine.
Happy birthday and virtual hugs to you, Jasmine.
And virtual hug. You know, we're doing, not 6 feet. We're actually, 60 miles away. We're doing, that is the ultimate in social distancing. They're over near Inglewood. We're out in North Hollywood. You can't get more social distance than that.
Hello.
Happy birthday, Jasmine.
Happy birthday, Jasmine.
We love you to death.
Yes.
All right, let's get down to business. Where's Little Money Hoffman? Little Money Hoffman here. Here, will this help you? Will this help you? What am I doing, Little Money? What am I doing?
Okay,
now,
you need
if
to
you're
give
on
me
Facebook,
some more
you can
money.
see this. You can see it. $100 bills are floating all over the studio here.
Okay.
All right, A.H. Hoffman.
I need some money.
We're going to open the phone lines in just a minute. 818-985-5735, 818-985-KPFK. We got 2 things we're talking about on the table today. First of all, big poll that came out that showed Donald Trump is not doing so bad. Now, you know, he bungled everything in the beginning. A lot of people didn't like what he was doing. They said, hey, you don't know, you're calling it a hoax, you're calling it this, you're calling it that. You know, you're not taking it seriously, yada, 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 on and on and on. Well, Trump scrambled fast. We know about the stimulus. We know about all of that. And we know that he's doing this now. He's got GM. He's invoking the War Powers Act, getting General Motors to start getting out there and getting those ventilators and all of that. You know, these are the kinds of things that, quote unquote, and when I say kind of things, a wartime president, a real General Eisenhower, a real FDR, a wartime president, Woodrow Wilson, George Washington. Well, the war was over by then, but you know what I mean. And also, you would think he's the second coming of General Patton to hear him tell it. Really a man of action now. The poll shows that about 60% of Americans now actually like the way he's handling CV-19, the crisis. What do you think about that? Are you one of those 60%? Do you think the guy is doing enough? Do you think he scrambled fast enough? He got the word? He's out there. He's doing his thing. Your thoughts on that? All right, Little Money, are you ready? Let's walk it through. What's in it for Little Money Hoffman?
Yeah, what's in it? What's in it for me?
All right,
I'm
here's the
ready
deal.
for it because I'm going to make a list.
All right, you got a list. Number one.
No, I'm making a list right here, so we're going to go over it. Number one, I'm
we're going
writing
over
down.
it. All right,
okay.
you see, I'm spreading money all over the place. You got it.
because I want some of your money.
Fake money at that. Leroy, empty out one of those Swiss bank accounts of yours. Come on.
Okay,
number one, if you are an individual, you get a one-time, maybe more, one-time payout of $1,200. If you are a couple, the payout is $2,400. You double the $1,200.
$2,400. Okay.
All right. If you have a child under 16 or a dependent child, preferably living in the home, but dependent, $500.
Okay.
So in theory, a couple with maybe 2 children, dependent children in the home, that's a grand total of $3,400. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two, tax-free.
All of this is tax-free?
It is tax-free. You pay no taxes on that.
Tax-free.
That's number two.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going. I'm on a roll now.
I'm writing this down.
All right.
Okay.
Second thing is you do not have to, third thing, you don't have to apply for a payment. It will be automatic. Steve Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary, and Trump said we want to get the dough in Leroy's pocket quickly. We want to get you over to Walmart. We want to get you back to the restaurants. We want to get you back on the airlines. You got to have money.
Why you got to be Walmart?
The checks will be in the mail by April 6th. Now, it could be a direct check or it could be direct deposit.
Direct check.
It will be based on your income tax filing if you didn't file this year. A lot of people haven't filed yet. And by the way, that's a subset of number 3A. The IRS, courtesy of Steve Mnuchin, has extended the filing time. It's not April 15th anymore. That's not tax day. Tax day now is July 21st. So the time frame has been extended. Oliver, all the money that you owe, all those millions, because of stock dividends and everything, corporations, you can defer it now. You've got 3 months. You've got a grace period, 3 months. All right, so getting back to that. It could be direct deposit, so we'll keep an eye on that. Now, are you a student, A.H. Hoffman? If you were at Cal State Northridge, you were there a couple of years ago. If you're a student, you were. As you well know, many students are in hock for a lot of money because they took out student loans to pay for that inflated BA and MA. You have 6 months now. You have a 6-month period now where payments on your student loan has been suspended.
Okay.
6 months, not bad.
KPFK, you name
two other things, Leroy. You can't charge interest. You know how they try to sneak interest in on that? You cannot charge interest on the student loan suspended payments. Another subset to that, it cannot go on your credit report. No, you cannot get a black mark on your credit report. No, that's verboten too. So we got a couple of things here. If you're students, and the other thing too, that's important, you can actually get an extension on the suspension of your payment. Not bad. No income tax on that either. Are you self-employed? If you're a self-employed individual, a sole proprietor, or a corporation, you're eligible now, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of money flowing out because we've seen the collapse of small businesses because of the closure. A lot of small businesses now are self-employed. I like that. It's not bad. You are eligible for a low or no interest loan. And also the understanding is down the line, there may be a waiver on payment on that. So keep an eye on that. Unemployment insurance. We know about Uber and Lyft. They're independent contractors as of this point. The CEO of Uber wrote a letter, begged President Trump, saying, look, we have a lot of people, tens of thousands of Uber and Lyft drivers. We'll talk about Uber because the CEO did it, Lyft did it too, that essentially the market has collapsed. Nobody's riding in cars anymore. Everybody's scared to death of getting in a car and touching something and getting COVID-19. So the industry collapsed, ride share, that is. As a result of that, the government now, Trump heard him, his cronies in the GOP heard him, and that we will extend for the first time unemployment insurance to independent contractors, non-employees. Remember, that's never, ever been done before. Not independent contractors. That's a bonanza for many of the drivers, rideshare drivers. You can get now, in California, I believe it's, $475, $500 a week. That's the max. In addition to that, the federal government will put $600 more per month on top of that. Now, you had some of the conservatives, Lindsey Graham, Tim Scott, that said, no, don't give more money on unemployment insurance because what you're doing is incentivizing, I like that, people not to work. You're giving them more money than they would have made. Remember, in South Carolina, the wages are like Mississippi, rock bottom, compared to California. They forget one thing. People are not working because you close everything down, not because they don't want to work. So, no, that's a bogus argument. By the way, I don't seem to remember him making that argument about Hilton Hotels, Royal Caribbean Lines, Boeing, United Airlines. I don't remember him making that argument about that. Well, anyway. All right. So that's a good thing if you're a independent contractor, self-employed, low interest, no interest loans, and in addition to that, unemployment insurance. Then the other thing, and they've extended, by the way, an additional 13 weeks. Typically, Leroy, as you know, unemployment insurance is 26 weeks. It's now 39 weeks. And you can get an extension on the 39 weeks, depending on circumstances. If you're a senior citizen, there's a minimum mandatory requirement at 72 years old. They changed that, by the way. You have to, in your IRA, you have to take a certain amount of money out of your IRA every year. It's called a minimum mandatory requirement takeout. They waived that for 2020. You do not have to take the minimum mandatory requirement in 2020. In addition to that, you can also borrow now with no penalty. If you borrow on your IRA, Leroy, you pay a 10% penalty. Plus, you got to pay taxes on it, too. Okay, you can borrow now up to $100,000. $100,000, A.H. Hoffman. I'm not calling you little money. I'm starting to call you middle money.
Oh,
and then
thanks.
before the show is over, and before the show is over, you're going to have a PhD in money.
Okay,
you'll be big
so
money.
Glad that I graduated.
You can borrow, not yet. You haven't got your diploma yet. Don't get too happy yet.
I have my.
No, you haven't got it yet. It's coming, A.H. Hoffman.
Okay.
All right, you can tap your IRA for $100,000, no penalty.
Really?
1 year.
Okay.
Now, here it gets even better.
Oh, my God.
If you're over 72, you got to do the minimum mandatory requirement takeout because the government wants to, money. They want to be tax, right. All right, now what you can do, you can borrow on that and again, let me get this right now because it gets a little tricky here. You do not have to pay taxes. I don't want to give any misinformation. I'm big on disinformation and misinformation. Yes, I debunk a lot of things, as you know.
Yes.
All right. For that $100,000 max that you can borrow on your IRA, if you put it back within 3 years, you do not have to pay taxes on it.
Oh, wow.
No.
Okay.
If you put it back, or if you don't put it back, you can extend for 3 years your tax liability. In other words, let's say, for example, I have a tax liability of $1,000. Instead of having to pay that $1,000 in that one tax year, you can extend it year 1, year 2, year 3, 333, 333, 334. In other words, you can extend it out.
Okay.
If you pay it back put it back in the IRA within the 3 years, you're home free.
I have a question, teacher.
All right, wait, I got to keep going on this because there's more.
Oh, okay.
Just write your question down.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
Do you have a nonprofit? We do have the LA Urban Policy Roundtable. If you have a nonprofit, Leroy, now they've waived the amount of money on tax deductions to nonprofits. You can give now up to $100,000 to any nonprofit of your choice. Now, remember before there was a ceiling on how much you could give. And after that, of course, there's a tax liability. Not anymore. A lot of nonprofits, they are salivating over that one now because now it opens up the charity spigot now. And by the way, the LA Urban Policy Roundtable, we're, okay, well, we'll leave it at that for now.
What happened was. Okay.
And, A.H. Hoffman, I've got more, but go ahead, your question, because I've got something for you as a renter.
Okay, so
do you want to hear what you can do as a renter?
Yeah, but let me ask this question because I don't know if you covered it. So what about people on Social Security?
All right, Social Security is not touched. Social Security and a pension, you're talking about the $1,200 or $2,400.
Right, so do they receive?
It's in addition to that. It has nothing to do.
It's in addition, so they can get it.
It's in addition to that. They get it. They still get it.
All
no.
right.
There's no income requirement on that whatsoever.
Okay.
The only income requirement is they did put a cap if you make more than a certain amount of money. If you're an individual and you make more than $99,000, like Leroy, he makes that in 1 month. Well, probably one day.
Leroy.
Then
you're the
Leroy,
man.
Sorry, you're out in the cold. You don't get a nickel. And Little Money Hoffman, you're home free. You get money all over the place.
You said little. You keep saying that. I thought I was growing up.
I know you haven't got to middle money yet. Just still little money. But you know what? Bear with me. We got 2 hours with this.
Okay.
All right, A.H. Hoffman, do you rent? Are you a renter?
Yes, I
Okay.
am.
I don't know. I know you might have property hanging all over the
up
place in the
my
Caribbean,
business.
Hawaii.
All
I don't
up
know
in
what
my
you have.
business. Tell it all.
All right, A.H. Hoffman here. As a renter,
Yes.
is there
yes, sir.
any relief for renters in the bill? Are you ready, A.H. Hoffman?
Renters? Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes.
There's
Yes.
What?
The bill would put a temporary nationwide eviction moratorium in place
Temporary
for
nationwide.
any renter whose landlords have mortgages backed or owned by Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and other federal entities. This will last, are you ready, A.H. Hoffman? 4 months. You cannot be evicted. You cannot be evicted from your abode for 4 months.
But they have to be backed up by those companies, right?
Well, just about everyone. Just about
Wells
all property in
Fargo,
America.
Bank of America. Did Bank of America get on board?
I'm getting to them in a minute.
Okay.
Hold that one
All
second.
right.
I want to get the renters first.
Okay.
Yeah, there's more.
Oh,
The landlord cannot charge you any fee during that 4-month period.
no fees?
No fees.
So no late
None.
fees at all?
Or, I'm not finished, or penalties for non-payment of rent. So you got a 4-month free ride. Hopefully renters, will pay their rent. I mean, come on. Don't use this, as a ploy.
You have
But
to pay it back, don't you? Don't you have to don't you have a certain number of time to pay the rent back, or you just don't pay? Is that what you're saying?
What they're doing is that they're giving you a grace period of 4 months, no eviction. In other words, if you're behind on your rent, that's really those that can't pay the
Okay.
rent and you're behind on it.
Okay.
And usually, typically, as you know, you get an eviction notice of 3 days, blah, blah, blah. No, they can't do that now. So that's why they put the 120 days in there. By the way, a little thing, too.
Okay.
I just got Southern California Gas and Southern California Edison.
Mm-hmm.
Also, no disconnect, electricity, gas, for
Oh,
non-payment of
really?
bills for
Okay.
90 days.
Okay.
For 90 days.
Okay.
A lot of people can't. Well, hey, people are strapped now. Let's
Yes.
face it.
Yes.
It's
yes.
touched millions of people.
Okay.
Also, if you're on your menstrual period, well, for women, did you know this? Again, there's a little thing here.
Are you
that
serious?
you
Are you
know
being serious? I mean,
that-
are you joking right now?
Menstrual products are now eligible for reimbursement after at least 15 years of lobbying and debate trying to get an exemption for menstrual products for, healthcare manufacturers. They put a lot of, by the way, it's an 800-page bill, 800 pages, loaded with fine print all over the place.
Okay.
Every industry and their grandma has lined up at the trial on this one, including yours truly. I'm right there, too. I got my hand out, too. Money,
All
money,
that
money.
money that you
I
have,
want, yeah,
share
me.
that money. Yeah, all that money
Me?
you have. Share some of that money with me. I
Poor as
need
a
some money.
I'm poor as
Give
five
me
church.
some money.
I'm poor as 5
Give
church
me some
mouses.
money.
What are you talking about, Leroy? Leroy picked my pocket before I even went in here. All right, look. Let me stand up here. You know what I always like to do. You see this?
Is there any money?
Do you see that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's because
see
it's in
that?
your socks or your
see that?
shoes, man.
What do you see?
You're hiding your
Even
money.
5 malls.
Look
Even
at them
they-
standing up. That's ridiculous. Give me
We
some
got
money,
nothing.
Earl.
Poor man.
Yeah, okay.
I took a vow of poverty. When I was born. All right, A.H. Hoffman, where are we?
Yes.
Okay, there was one
Yes.
other item here. We got that.
Yes.
We got the shutdown. Eligible,
Renters.
no payment.
Nonprofit, IRS. You did individuals.
You got the
don't
borrowing
have
from
to
your
play
IRA.
for- let me see. Check
You got
in, what's it?
unemployment insurance, and by
Right.
the way, they extend that too. Benefits, you
They,
don't have to
they
wait
extended unemployment insurance?
13 weeks. You got 13 more weeks, and you can get a waiver on that. You can go
So
almost
it's 6 months plus 13 weeks?
6 months plus 13 more weeks,
plus
plus,
13 weeks.
I'm not finished.
What?
Plus an additional $600.
Oh, my.
And
okay.
and I'm not finished. There's more. You can actually get a waiver almost up to 1 year on your unemployment insurance, depending on circumstances.
Okay. Okay.
My guess is they're going to fast track this one too. Usually there's a wait period, a long wait period. Now,
People be
they've
home.
almost crashed the system because tens of millions of people,
Right.
all-time record, filing for unemployment insurance. Well, it would be. So my guess is they're going to fast track this, and they're going to shove the money out there as fast as they can. After all, they want their big corporate, big shots. They want to
They
get
gotta
their
get their
dough.
money.
They
And I
their
want
money.
my dough, too.
I
So,
know
yes,
you
I
want your-
mine. So Boeing, United Airlines,
They're
all of them,
all there.
I want some of it,
They're
too.
all there. And,
Exactly.
And there's much more. And Trump is there, too. You don't think he's not going to be there.
Well, of course he's...
There's
yeah.
2 little provisions tucked away in there. Let me
For
see if I
Trump.
can find it. Well, let me see if I can find
Please
this.
find it.
Still, language in the bill. We're not going to paraphrase. I'll read it to you. Still, language in the bill could allow the Trump Organization, the private holding company for the president's businesses, to benefit from 2, not 1, 2 provisions designed to
knew it.
help restaurants and hotels.
Oh,
And
hotels.
because
Hotels, he's in the
tax
hotel
write-offs, and offset capital gains, tax write-offs. You can write it off now and spread it out over the years, which they do anyway. But what you can do is, let's say you buy, tens of millions of dollars in stock. Stock market, as you know, went down temporarily. It'll be back up. Well, you can use now that capital gains from your property holdings. You can use that to offset losses in any other area. Stocks, bonds. Typically, that was prohibited before. You can use depreciation on your property now as a loss to write off losses in other areas. You made some bad investments. Leroy doesn't do that. No. All of his investments are blue chip all the way. But little money, Hoffman, you made bad investments all over the place. That's why you're little money. That's why, and you're getting littler by the second with your,
my God.
With your poor investing.
Tell my waist size that.
I have to tell you, the money is shrinking by the second. The more I look at, matter of fact, I'm going to stop looking at you because you're making me poor looking at you.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I'm looking the other way. I'm going to look at Leroy over here. Yeah, I know you will. Show. No, you're not. You know why? Because you're going to have.
I'm too poor?
No, I'm not too poor. You're going to have to move my shopping cart in the parking lot with the cans in it out the way. All right, look. Listen, Hoffman.
Yes.
Little Money Hoffman.
Yes,
I want to tell
Hutchinson.
you this. You can now write off all your bad investments now with your depreciation.
Oh, okay.
Not bad.
Okay.
Couldn't do that before, but now sky's the limit on that.
Okay.
All right, A.H. Hoffman, did we cover everything? Unemployment insurance? Not everything, because there's a lot more to come. And my guess is, in the days to come, as this is fine-tuned a little bit more, there will be more. Also, prediction.
Thank you for
It's not the end of
clarifying
it.
this.
Not the end of it. There's going to be a part two. There's going to be another stimulus bill. The feds are going to write another check. By the way, that's the Federal Reserve.
So we're going to get some more
By
money?
the way, that's the Federal Reserve that's writing these checks.
So we're getting
They're
more
not
money?
It's not a government agency. It's a private organization.
So is a private organization will give us more money?
More money. But
That's
there's
all I
one-
want.
Yeah, I know.
There's a stipulation on it. We always know there's a stipulation to it. Something this good to be
there's
true.
There's one tiny little stipulation.
What's the tiny stipulation, Mr. Hutchinson?
Leroy, you ready for the tiny stipulation?
I need to know.
Your granddaughter or son, soon to be, will have to pay for generations to come. You don't think anything is free in this world?
Of course it's not free.
Somebody's got to pay. A.H. Hoffman, I didn't call you little. I wanted to call you little money. Somebody has got to pay.
I thought I was graduating.
Well, okay, middle money, Hoffman.
There we go.
Somebody has to pay.
Okay.
Sooner or later, A.H. Hoffman, you got to pay the piper.
Okay.
You know that.
All right.
Generations to come.
You pay me, and then I'll pay it. So as long as you pay me.
You don't think $2 trillion is free, quote unquote, do you?
Of course
You got to pay it back at some point. And by the way, they're talking about an additional $1 to $2 trillion. A stimulus package, part two. You got to remember, we don't know how long the closure is going to last. We don't know.
He wants to open it up by Easter.
We don't know that. It might.
So everybody can sit in church and catch COVID-19.
I got that. But suppose it doesn't happen. And, even then, if it officially opens up, a lot of businesses are not going to be open right away.
And a lot of businesses are not going to reopen.
We're not going to open at all. It's going to take time to gear up and gear up again. That takes time. The other thing, too, A.H. Hoffman, we'll be talking more about this. Who gets tested, too? Now, we understand in the stimulus package that free testing, right? You're not going to charge for testing, which means supposedly.
You shouldn't.
Well, yeah, but they do charge, though.
But they
and
should
that's why there
is
is
no.
That's why there's a shortage of tests. That's not why, because the big dumbbell, when they offered the test from the World Health Organization said no. And now there's a flood a rush to get tests. Okay. In the next week or so, their testing will be available more and more. The question is, who gets the test? Now, we could go on all day and say, poor folk in South L.A., African Americans and Hispanics and so forth, as usual, bottom of the barrel. Well, we don't know that.
Okay.
We have to see. Because remember, supposedly, no charge. I can tell you this, and we're going to take a break. I can tell you this. I went over to Kaiser. I don't know if I mentioned this last week.
Yes.
I went over to Kaiser last Thursday. And not about this. It was about something. I do a little physical therapy every now and then, get touched up. Kaiser was locked down. You just can't walk in, Kaiser West LA. Can't walk in like typically on a typical day. They had tents. Leroy, they had about 5 or 6, 8, 9, 10 tents on the side there.
Okay.
They screen you first. If you have any symptoms whatsoever, boom, go right to the tent, right, for isolation. And I'm not sure if they weren't even giving tests there, just isolation, so you're not, again, mixed in with the general population. Everything was cordoned off. Seating, everything, you name it. Canceled all the appointments. They're doing a lot of televisiting and teleconsulting, which shows you, by the way, the use of technology. All right, in any event, my doctor, I got in the next day, that day. Usually it takes 3 to 4 weeks to get in, and I got in it that day. I said, Doc, let me ask you a question. A.H. Hoffman, I'm kind of thinking, I have to confess, are you there?
I'm still
kind
here.
of thinking, maybe while I'm over here, I can sneak in and get a little test for myself. You know, I mean, well, I'm here, why not?
Right.
So I said, Doc, you know, while I'm here, what do you think about? She said, no, let me stop you right there. I can't test you. What do you mean you can't test me? I'm sitting right here in front of you. I'm in the Kaiser. I'm in the hospital. What do you mean you can't test me? I'm right here. Well, I mean, what was that to say? She said, no, we don't have the test. So you mean to tell me now, if I'm coming in, I'm hacking, I'm coughing, I'm sweating, I'm all of this, you know, over 95 years old, I've got all the comorbidity symptoms, age and all of that. You're saying, no, you got to go to your primary caregiver. That primary caregiver has to make a recommendation. Then here's the kicker, A.H. Hoffman, we got to order the test. I said, what do you mean order the test?
Really?
Time. Yeah, what do you mean order it? I thought you had it right now. What do you tell people? Very simple. Go home, stay home. 1 to 14 days. 1 to 14 days. Give me that again, Rick. 1 to 14 days. I didn't hear that. That's what they told you. And hopefully you'll get well. Well, 99%, 98%. It's a 2%. 98 COVID-related percent of the people are going to get well. You're not going to die. You're in that 98%, thank goodness. But nonetheless, the risk is still there. And people have to understand that, and people do understand that. Panic, no. Precaution, yes. There's a world of difference between the two. All right, you listen to the Hutchinson Report. 818-985-5735. 818-985-KPFK. Your thoughts about Trump handling COVID. Did he do a good job? He scrambled after he bungled all over the place in the beginning, but did he make it up in such a way?
Fake news.
I know. I got that, Trump. But did he make it up in such a way now all wheels are humming and they are turning and everything is full speed ahead to get a handle on it? Your thought about that. The other thing, too, we went over some, not all. We went over a few of the items in the $2 trillion, that's right, $2 trillion stimulus package that was passed. Senate passed it. House passed it. Trump signed it quickly. Why wouldn't he? I mean, it's an election year. So as a result of that, your thoughts on that, questions about that, we'll try to do the best we can. Hutchinson here. Little Money Hoffman here. Big Money Jackson here. We'll be right back. All right. Leroy, you thanked some people off the air that did join us on our Facebook live stream. Thank you, everyone. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining us on our Facebook live stream. Once we leave the airways, we'll spend a few minutes talking with our Facebook live stream audience. We'll wrap it up there. Oliver, we got Instagram. How are we doing on that? Pretty good? All right, good. All right. Thanks again. And Little Money, Middle Money, and Big Money, Hoffman.
On the phone.
We love you. On the phone as usual. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ricky, where are you? Ricky, thanks again for everything. Wendell, Vino, thanks again. Till next week.
The Hutchinson Report.
I'm not sure you'll have 47 Democrats
With Earl Afari Hutchinson.
that will not break ranks and vote to convict Donald Trump.
Angela Hoffman.
Hoffman, you live in the district too.
They need to be transparent. I think you should run.
Pat Hoffman with her USA hat on today. Sure.
Tune into the Hutchinson Report, Saturdays at 9 a.m. right here on KPFK.